Hi-ho friends, welcome back to the Snug Bungalows Thrift Store Finds, where we look through a bag of the stuff that I found at the Goodwill bins. I've got my Mr. T pearls on, and I'm ready to go, so let's dig in. The first thing that I can never say no to is paper lanterns. I got two of them. They have glitter, they have koi, they have fringe. I just can't ever say no to a paper lantern. New, vintage, doesn't matter. I always want a paper lantern. And if you're paying attention, you will notice that my logo is actually a red paper lantern. I love them. I don't sell them. I keep them all. Right now we may have a hoarding situation on our hands, but I feel like I can stop anytime I want to, so that's probably good. This one is pretty much the same. I have some that I use in my decorating for different holidays, and I have grandiose visions of what I'm going to do with the rest of them, which is a small tote. A small tote. I feel good about that. It's a small tote. It's not like a full, huge size tote full of them. Got a small tote of paper lanterns that I'm hoarding for myself. Okay, so most of the stuff today is going to be vintage decor, like home decor. There'll be a few pieces of 80s, 90s nostalgia thrown in because we all love it. But most of the stuff is going to be vintage housewares. So this is a tin tray. It's not marked, it has no maker mark on it, but it has a lovely daffodil graphic, and it is a nice smaller size. You can decorate with it, you can use it to carry snacks. Very cute retro vibe. Now the next thing is kind of big, but very, very collectible. This is a vintage, kind of heavy, wooden cutting block. It's a pig. They come in all different shapes, all different animals especially. I've seen lots of different stuff. Pig is one that you find a lot of. But look, he's got a little brad for his eyes on either side. Handmade. No signature or anything like that. And it looks like he was made out of a piece of wood that had been reused for other things, because there are some holes drilled in it, and some things going on from maybe another project. But I just thought, oh, he's so good. It's really, really good. Very, very cool. Pretty heavy, but still I think he will sell pretty quickly because he's really good. Okay, so the next thing is very tiny. This was made in Italy, and it is a tiny little picture. You can see there's a little scene there. There's like a castle maybe in the background. Got a lot of little carvings on the side, and it has a gold tinge to, a metallic gold tinge to the paint on the edges. It says made in Italy on the back. And a lot of stuff like this was produced in Italy. And so you can get trays. There are actually tables made out of the same. It's a very, very light wood. Sometimes there's a coating over top of it that's like a paper mache sort of situation. But all of the pieces that are made like this are probably worth picking up. So I'm not sure how much you can get for something as small as this, but it just has a very beautiful sort of Renaissance style vibe, and people really dig that. Okay. Next is a brass piece. I don't pick up a ton of brass pieces anymore. A couple years ago, brass was really having a moment, and you could just sell anything that was brass, essentially. Now I tend to wait for like very intricate, really unique pieces, novelty pieces, that sort of thing, which is what we have here. This is a brass letter opener, and it is a unicorn head. It's pretty regal. If you're looking to feel like a princess in a castle opening her mail, this is the one you're gonna want. It's actually very heavy because this is solid brass. So, you know, letter opener, shiv, just depends on what you're doing that day, I guess. Okay. Now, at the bins this time I found a lot of hardware. I'm not going to show you everything because I did find a lot, and some of it is not super adorable, but still will sell. These are 3 knobs, door pulls, handles, whatever you want to call them. They are ceramic. They are painted. They're very, very pretty. And these remind me of the Pioneer Woman brand that's out. I don't know if they are. They're unmarked. They could have come off a piece of furniture or, you know, I'm not sure. But I'll do a little research on those. Not too much, because, you know, I think they're good enough to just sell on their own merit, no matter, you know, where they came from or who made them. So sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, if I find salvage pieces in the bins, like home salvage, I snap that up. Home salvage, you know, trim, just, you know, pieces of wood that were obviously like on a wall, or, you know, used to make some kind of furniture or something, that just like leftover pieces or something that's been salvaged from a home that's being torn down. I always grab those things. They sell very well, even if they're heavy. And this, I'm hoping, is no exception. This is one single hinge. It has paint on it, several different colors, several different layers, but it is extremely detailed. It's a little bit rusty even, a little bit crusty, but it is extremely beautiful. Obviously very old. So I will do a little bit of research on this and then I will list it. It just says 4x4 on it, but no other maker's mark or anything like that. But it's kind of cool. I mean, yes, you could use it for a project, right? Absolutely. But also you could just display it as is because it's beautiful enough to be a piece of art on its own. So that was pretty cool. Okay. I found these. I don't know if you're going to know what they are. I thought I knew what they were, and then I looked, and then I thought, oh, maybe I don't know what they are. But these. So I know somebody who has a bunch of these, and she puts them in a vase, like a cute little floral arrangement type of thing. There are several different designs here, 2 different colors, green and blue. These end parts are wood, and there is a metal piece in the middle, like a little strap. And what these are shoe stretchers. So you put them inside of your shoe. This goes in the toe, this goes in the heel, and it just sort of keeps the shape while they're sitting in your closet waiting for you to use them. I just think they have a great vintage vibe. They're almost nautical looking to me. So they might be really cute in like a cabin or a beach house. You know, one of the great things about life is you don't have to use these for what they're actually meant for. You can use them in any capacity that you can imagine. So I just thought these are really great. I'm going to sell them all as one whole bunch. And I don't think I've ever found them before. I've never come across them on my own before, but they're in pretty good condition. This one is just green. But I just really liked those. I thought you could do a lot of different things with them, and they just have such great vintage graphic appeal on their own. Okie dokie. Next thing I'm going to be keeping for myself. This is a wooden frame. I collect all different types of frames, new and old, because I have a lot of artwork that I also collect. So I put those two hands together, and this one actually has inlay. So this is actual wood inlay. So this is a higher quality than just if it was to be printed on there. And all of this is wood. Very lovely. I can't wait to see what I'm going to frame in this. I'll definitely be keeping that for my own. This is one of those little pieces, when you're at the bins, it's intense. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for people who don't like getting dirty or digging around and stuff. And there can be a certain amount of pressure because there are other people digging right alongside you, and you don't know if you're trying to find the same sorts of things. I think a lot of times people are not generally trying to find the same sorts of things that I am. I like older things than I think most people are there for. Maybe the toys once in a while are sort of gunning for the same stuff, but this is one of those things where in the heat of the moment I was like, okay, that's cool, in the bag, and like completely forgot about it, didn't really give it much thought or time. But this is a tiny little advertising piece. This is true vintage. This is not a reproduction. And it is a mirror. Like a little pocket mirror. I did a little preliminary research on this because I was like, I don't know if I can sell this one thing on its own and make enough money for it to be worth my time. The answer is yes, absolutely. One thing that I do know is that people really like advertising pieces. The more retro, the more vintage looking, the better. And this pocket mirror, there is a whole subculture of people who just love a tiny advertising pocket mirror. So many of them are selling. And for really, really great prices, you know, like $20 on something like this is great because it cost me, I don't know, pennies, you know. And I put very little thought into it. It was just like, hey, cool. I didn't even know if it was true vintage or, you know, reproduction. I just thought it was neat. I'll deal with it later. I try not to do that with large things that are heavier, that are going to cost more. But even so, like, the stuff is so cheap there that you really can kind of buy whatever and not have to feel too much pressure about really making your money back from it. You know, if it's not worth it to make your money back, then you can just redonate. Okay, so the last couple things we have are the little nostalgia items that we always love. I could not believe I found this because I don't know if we've talked about this before or not, but at the bins that I go to, the Goodwill outlet, if you don't know what that is, you want to watch my video number 1, there are a certain amount of men who are very into toys, collecting toys, selling toys. You know, they'll go after robot stuff and kind of like some of the stuff that I'm not really there for, don't know a lot about, probably wouldn't pick up. But then we're sort of both there for action figures. Definitely action figures of the 80s and 90s for me, stuff that I grew up with. And that's why I couldn't believe, because they had already done this bin. They'd been through, and then I came through. And I'm very meticulous when I'm going through. I like to take my time. It's okay if other people get stuff that I would want. I really need to like take my time and look through stuff. I'm not there to be stressed out. So I found Sergeant Slaughter, and I was like, holy cow, that's so awesome. G.I. Joe, I don't find a lot of G.I. Joe, at least, well, any of the sizes of G.I. Joe, actually. So to find an intact G.I. Joe was terrific. So I was just really tickled by that. I was like, I know that dude, Sergeant Slaughter, who actually started out as a wrestler, I believe, and then somehow made his way into the cartoon world of G.I. Joe. It's one of those very strange crossovers, but there we are. Okay, and the last thing that I have to show you is disgustingly dirty. I'm not gonna lie. This needs a whole scrub out. But this is like a tiny faux caboodles, which are basically just as popular as the actual caboodles in any of the sizes. People love these because they remember having them as a kid, and they're still really great for storage. It has a little mirror there, and there's a tray inside, which is very dirty, really, really dirty. And so you could do, you could have your makeup in there, of course. You could do, Legos, nice little sorter, or, anything, jewelry, be great for traveling. But I always pick these up. They don't last long in my store. And I was just really excited to find another one. Okay, guys, that is it for today. Again, I would like to ask you please to leave me a comment. Let me know what you like seeing, what you want to see, what your favorite thing was, what you collect. Always interested to hear that. Give this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. If you subscribe and you hit the notification button, you will be notified whenever I put up a new fantastic video. And I have a surprise for you. I think it's going to happen and go well. I'm working on a different sort of video, and I hope to put it out by the end of the month. It will stop being a good idea after the end of the month, so it has to be before the end of October. So you can look forward to something a little different, a little crazy. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to put some links below to stuff that is like the stuff that I have here. It usually takes me about 2 weeks to get everything up in my shops. So if you see something here that you absolutely have to have before that 2-week mark, leave me a comment, let me know. We'll work out a deal. And then when the things do actually go live, I will change the links below to be for these actual things, so you can just go right to them if you are interested in anything. If not, that's cool. Just thanks for hanging out with me. I love vintage stuff. I'm assuming that you love vintage stuff if you're here. And thank you so much for hanging out with me again. Until next time, guys, I invite you to go out and find treasure. See you later.